If you're not in those grades, that's okay. I'm sure you will still understand what I'm saying and enjoy this field trip adventure. So I work for California State Parks, and my name is Jenny, and I'm at one of our 280 state parks called Calaveras Big Trees here in the Sierra Nevada mountains, about 5,000 feet in elevation above the sea. So you're going to see some snow today on our little adventure. And our plan is that we're going to take a little nature walk down this trail and learn about the mighty giant sequoia and why they stand so strong. And the giant sequoia is a very, very special tree to California and to our nation. Most of them are in a park, and we'll learn why today in our adventure. So our park, Calaveras Big Trees, is currently closed, and most of our state parks are, and this is to help keep people from gathering because of our virus we got going on here. And it's why you all are home from school. So no worries, we're still going to get some learning in today. And I have to tell you, this is my very first field trip in snowshoes. Yes, so if I fall down, please don't make fun of me because I've never done a field trip in snowshoes before. I am wearing them on my feet. I'll take this camera and show you my feet right here. You can see my snowshoes. There you go. Yep, we got a lot of snow here. And these are going to help me not sink. So here we go. All right, and my mom might even be watching. So hi, Mom. Love you. She's my biggest fan. All right, so let's get started here. So the giant sequoia is going to be the focus of our adventure today. And they are the biggest single-stemmed tree on this entire planet. And when we say the biggest, we aren't necessarily talking about the height because there's taller trees out there. The cousin of the giant sequoia, the coast redwood, lives on the coast of California and Oregon. They're going to be taller. However, when we talk about the size of these trees, we're talking about their volume. We're not talking about volume that you can hear. We're talking about volume with their size, the base, the width, the height, the branches, the whole tree. They're the biggest trees on Earth. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jenny, this tree doesn't look that big. And you're right, this is a small one. This one's probably only a few hundred years old. But we have some here that are thousands of years old. That means that they're really, really big. So you're going to get to see some big ones today on our field trip adventure. So these trees are really wide. In fact, if you were to make a guess at home, now let me get a little closer here. Oh goodness, don't laugh at me if I fall on my snowshoes, or you can't laugh. How many people do you think it might take to make a circle around the base of this tree? How many people? Now you're going to have to use your imagination and make a scientific guess because I can't talk to you. Unfortunately, they turned off the option on these home learning programs to communicate with me. So raising your hand isn't going to do any good either. I cannot talk to you, unfortunately. But you can make a guess right now in your imagination. How many people do you think it might take to make a circle around this tree? How many? Is it 5? Is it 10? It's actually about 7. Because this tree is about 30 feet around, and we're about 5 feet with our arms out. So it takes about 7 people, depends on how big your arms are, to make a circle around this tree. And we have some trees here, it takes 20 people to make a circle around. So tell me, are there 20 people in your class at school? Think about your classrooms. I know you're all at home right now, probably. Think about your classrooms back at school. How many are in your classrooms? Yeah, that's there. You have about 20 or so students in there. So it takes your entire classroom to make a circle around some of our big trees here at Calaveras Big Trees. Not only are these trees really fat, they're also really tall. Again, they're not the tallest tree on Earth. That title belongs to the cousin of the giant sequoia, the coast redwood. But these trees are still pretty tall. Some of them can tower over 300 feet tall. So that's a pretty big tree, 300 feet tall. let's put that into some real world perspectives here. Let's think about 300 feet. What is 300 feet? Well, that's about the size of a skyscraper. We sometimes call these trees the skyscrapers of the forest. So that's like a 30-story building. So the room you're in right now at home, probably about 25 to 30 of those rooms. Also, let's think about in our imagination. So on this field trip, on this little adventure, you're going to need your imagination. And you're also going to need your curiosity. That's about it. So just bring that and we'll be fine. So now we're going to utilize our imaginations. Everyone close your eyes and picture the biggest mammal on Earth. What is the biggest mammal on Earth? Is it an elephant? No. This animal lives in the sea.
A blue whale?
Are you guessing a whale? That's right. The blue whale is our biggest mammal, and they're about maybe 90 to 100 feet long. So if we turn that whale on its tail and put it right next to a giant sequoia, again, you're going to need your imagination for this one. Yeah, it is not going to be as tall, is it? No, it's going to take 3 of those whales because our tallest giant sequoia is about 300 or so feet tall. All right, one more little imagination here, everyone at home. Close your eyes, real tight. Picture the Statue of Liberty in New York City. Now that is one big statue, isn't it? So what do you think? Is that statue going to win against a giant sequoia? Do you think the Statue of Liberty is going to be bigger than our giant sequoia? This is a close one. This is a close one. Now you should be seeing a photograph here on your screen revealing the answer. Yeah, the Statue of Liberty is about 10 feet shy of one of our biggest giant sequoia. So yes, my point is, everyone at home, these are some incredibly big trees. And it's hard to imagine them on the screen here, their size, until you see them in person. So if you're just joining us, we have about 370 people joining us from all over the country right now. We have some California natives, I'm sure. We have people all over in other states here. So I want to welcome you all to Calaveras Big Tree State Park here in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. Just a reminder, I'm Jenny. The park is currently closed, so we have the whole park to ourselves. We are on our most popular trail right now, the North Grove Trail. You might be wondering how cold it is right now. And it's about in the 40s Fahrenheit. So it's pretty nice out today. And if you're just joining us, I revealed in the beginning I'm on snowshoes. So if I fall over, you get some comedy out of this adventure. So I turn the camera here because I want to show you some things behind me. So we are in a beautiful forest. This park is about 6,500 acres. It takes me about 10 miles to drive to the end of the park, pretty small. And this park is in the Sierra Nevada mountains and about 5,000 feet in elevation. So I'm about 3 hours away from the ocean. The closest town is called Arnold. So if you're taking notes, you want to look that up after our adventure, you can look up Arnold. You'll see Big Trees is right up the road. So we are in a forest, obviously. There's a lot of different trees here. These are not all giant sequoia. This is not a pure giant sequoia forest. They have a lot of friends. But right away, you can tell which ones the giant sequoia are, not just because they're big. Now let's use our noticing. Let's use our noticing. So look behind me here. Do you notice there's a few trees that look a little different in their color? They look a little red. Maybe this one right here. Maybe these two right here. Those are giant sequoia. All these other brown ones are not giant sequoia. They are very recognizable by their bark. And their bark is very red. So we sometimes call them a redwood tree. And it's because of their red bark. Also, inside the tree is red. I have a little piece of wood right here. Little piece of wood coming up to the camera here. This came from this tree. Little branch fell down. I was able to get a sample. So you can see there's some light brown wood. This is, what am I thinking? The sapwood. This is the heartwood. Inside the giant sequoia is a little pink, a little bit red. So we call them a redwood tree. And we have 2 redwoods here in California. We are very lucky. We have the biggest trees on earth in California. We have these guys, our giant sequoia, sometimes called the Sierra redwood, because they grow in the mountains. And then their cousin is the coast redwood. And I bet you can guess where those grow, just by their name. Yes, on the coast of California and a little bit up in Oregon. That's the natural home of these trees. Their natural range. They are California natives. True and true. All right, friends. So you can all, just a reminder, I cannot communicate with you, unfortunately. I wish I could. And if you're raising your hand, that isn't going to do any good. We're trying to get that feature turned off. Unfortunately, I can't talk to you. So you're just going to have to talk amongst yourselves. Maybe one day come here to the park and visit me. Talk to me then. So let's get up nice and close to this giant sequoia and talk about this red bark. So this is a very important part of our giant sequoias. The bark is very fibrous, very soft, very mushy. A lot of times students ask me if it smells. It doesn't have a smell. It's very scentless. Some bark does smell, like caramel or vanilla. This one does not have a scent. And the bark is it's a very important part of all trees. So let's think about the bark. It's the outer layer of the tree, right? Like the skin of the tree. Very important. Everything on a tree has a role to play. They can't waste any energy. These trees are all, everything on the tree is important. So what's the importance of the bark? What is the role of the bark of the tree? Let's think about it. Let's use our curiosity, our scientific inquiries. What is the role of our bark? All bark. It's the outer layer of the tree. Think about it. Maybe talk about it amongst your sisters, brothers, parents, whoever else is watching. The bark gives you protection on the tree. Protective outer layer. So it's protecting the tree. That's the role of the bark. And our giant sequoia bark is extra protective. Very strong bark. And what are some things a tree might need protection from? Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Non-living things. What are some non-living things? Think about the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. These are some serious mountains. Serious mountains. In fact, the tallest peak in the lower United States, leaving out Alaska, is here in our state, California, Mount Whitney. These are serious mountains. So what non-living things might hurt this tree in these serious mountains? Think about it. Yeah, the weather. Absolutely. It gets really cold here. The bark is like the jacket on a tree. We get real bad storms. Winds. The intense sun. Very sunny here normally. It's pretty cloudy today. 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Non-living thing. What is California known for over the summers? Or wildfires. So the bark protects trees from fire. Now let's think about living things. What kind of living things want to hurt our poor trees? Think about living things. We can hear some in the background, can't we? Maybe you can't because I'm on this thing.
Bugs.
Sorry. There's some birds, is what I was trying to say. We have some woodpeckers back here. A lot of birds here that like to put big old holes in these trees. And a hole in a tree is not good. It lets all the things get in there and it hurts our trees. But they don't really hurt our giant sequoias. There's a lot of giant sequoias with big holes in them from woodpeckers. The tree goes on living because the bark on these trees is very, very thick. Everybody, when we're at home right now, let's hold up about a ruler. 12 inches with your hands. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just estimate 12 inches. Now add another ruler, 24 inches. Now that is the thickness of bark on some of our big giant sequoias. Really thick bark.
Whoa.
Think about it. Woodpecker can't really get through that, can they?
So weird.
Some trees have thin bark, real thin bark. We're talking a few inches. Woodpeckers get in there. They rip off entire sheets of bark, these woodpeckers. Also, another non-living thing, insects, of course, bark beetle, termites, carpenter ants. Yeah, these poor trees have to deal with disease. All kinds of things want to hurt our trees. So we have any trees at home. Very strong tree. The bark is extremely thick. We just talked about it being 2 rulers thick. Also, there's a special chemical inside this bark that keeps the bugs away. It's called tannin. Tannin's in a lot of things we like to eat. Who's ever had a grape? Who's ever had a cranberry? These things are sour sometimes, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes you taste a little bit of the tannins. And if the tree is sour, the bugs might not want to eat it, will they?
No.
No, it's like having a built-in insect repellent right into this bark. So my point is that I'm trying to make here, the mighty giant sequoia stands strong because of their bark. Very important feature of these trees. They can outlive all the other trees here because of their bark. Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah.
And so let's keep going down the trail on our adventure. We're going to spend about 45 minutes together today. We have about 30 minutes left. I want to point out a couple things behind me here before I start walking in my snowshoes. We have some buildings here. So my desk is right in here, right over here. This is our visitor center. We are open every day of the year normally, except we're closed right now because of our virus. And this visitor center has movies, a gift shop, really nice people to give you information. There's an exhibit with stuffed animals in there. Sometimes students want to know if we have live animals in there. No, they're all stuffed animals that we've accumulated off the roadkill here or wherever. We gather them naturally. You can't hunt here at the park. And a lot of people want to know what Calaveras trees is most used for. We are known for hiking and camping. Those are the 2 main activities that happen here. And we are a 4-season park, so every season here is different, and there's all kinds of things going on. Today we have a lot of snow. I'm in my snowshoes. You can come here and make snowmen or women. We also have spring wildflowers here. We have fall color. And then in the summer is our busiest time. So this is our most popular trail. Normally we would see a lot of people here right now walking by the camera, but there's no one here today. So let's keep going on our little adventure. If you're just joining us, we are at Calaveras Big Tree State Park. My name is Jenny. We are in the Sierra Nevada of California, about 2 hours away from Sacramento, about 3 hours away from San Francisco, about 9 hours away from LA, maybe less. Okay, so let's keep going. So if you were to say, Jenny, what is the habitat of the giant sequoia? What is their home like? I would say we are in a mixed conifer forest because we have a variety of conifers here. And conifer might be a new term for you all at home learning. It simply means a tree that has cones. And we have about 8 different conifers here. The giant sequoia is one of them. And conifer trees not only have a cone, most of them have green needles that stay green all year round. So that's what all the green is back there. None of our leaves are coming back yet on our broadleaf trees, like hazelnut and dogwood. So we have 8 different conifers. The giant sequoia has 8 friends around itself. And we have pine trees, we have firs, we have cedar, all kinds of conifer trees, and they're the ones with the big old trunks. So let's talk about conifer trees. Whoa, sorry everyone. You're slipping here. I'm going to put you down. I'm sorry to jostle you. I know it makes some people sick. Whoa, sorry. I promise I will stop moving you. One second here. Bear with me.
Okay.
I'm in about 3 feet of snow. All the snow is new. This all came within the last few weeks. It's been a very dry winter up here. Okay. So let's talk about conifer trees. So I found here on the ground something I want to show you. I found some needles. Ow, that one really hurt. Of a giant sequoia. Yeah, they hurt me. They are scaly and prickly. And they're green and fluffy, a few inches long. I'm lucky enough to have this specimen. It blew down. There's not much out here. We got a lot of snow, not enough beetles. So this blew down from our giant sequoia. So you're able to see what their foliage looks like. They do not have a leaf. They have a needle. They're a conifer tree. Most conifers have needles. And I found also here on the ground something really big. Whoa, check this out. I found this really big cone.
Whoa!
That's
That's so big.
cone. This one's bigger than my head. It's bigger than the screen. And inside this cone are the seeds to this particular conifer. Now, I don't see any in here. Oh, here's one. I don't see many in here. A lot of them have fallen out. Oh, here's one. Inside of this cone, you can see it has a little seed on the end there and a little soft wing. This helps it blow in the wind. Maybe it'll grow.
Cool.
So cones have a purpose, just like our bark has a purpose, right? Let's think. Everybody, let's use our imaginations again. You just saw the answer. What's the purpose of our cones? What's the purpose of our cones? The bark is protecting the tree. What's the purpose of the cone? What is it protecting? Think about it. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves at home. What do most trees start off their life
If you
as?
guys want to unmute your mic and
A seed.
talk a little bit about it.
That's right. And if you're a conifer, your seeds are inside of a cone. The cones are designed to protect the seeds. And cones come in all different shapes and sizes. Look at the small one I found here. Now this one looks like a little flower, doesn't it? Does this look like a cone at all?
No.
No, at one point, this cone had the seeds inside. They've fallen out. This is an open cone to one of our conifers here. Very different looking cone, huh? And then I found even a third cone here. So we have 8 different conifers. Each have their different cones. We're not going to get to see them all today, but I just want to show you this other little one here I found on the ground. Now this one is about the size of an egg. Very small cone. It can fit right there in my hand. Really small cone. So one of these cones I just showed you came from a giant sequoia. And I'm curious to know at home, all you home learners, your home explorers, which one is the giant sequoia's cone? Which one do you think? Is this big one here? Or the biggest tree on earth? It would make sense
Raise your hand.
for them to have a big cone, right? Or is this their cone, this tiny little flower-looking thing? Or do they have a medium cone? What do you think? Scientific guess, everyone. What do you think it is? All right, are you ready to find out? Now, if you're at home and you're sitting by a computer on a table, give me a little drum roll, would you? Do a little drum roll for me. And the cone. Right now. On your screen, the giant Sequoia cone. How many of you thought this was it? I know, it's hard to believe such a big tree has a tiny cone, but it's true. This is their cone. This is how the giant Sequoia make more trees. Their seeds are in here. The seeds to the incense cedar are in this cone. And then this big one that most people think is our giant Sequoia cone is actually a sugar pine cone. This is a true pine cone. Came from a pine tree. So not a giant Sequoia cone. And these hang on the trees like Christmas ornaments. And then they fall down. And the squirrels eat them. Like corn on the cob. So you find some of these on the ground with their little scales removed. Squirrels love to eat them. Squirrels like to eat the seeds inside. So yeah, we have all kinds of cones here. So let's talk about these seeds. So inside of the giant Sequoia cone, when they're on the tree, they're green, and they're not opened up. So these little seeds can't come out. These little seeds, when the cone's dry and open, and this happens over time with heat from our sun, heat from a fire, or just over time they dry out. And then the seeds come out, because the seeds can't come out when they're stuck shut like this.
That looks so
These are really, really tiny. I have some here. Oh goodness, are they not here? There they are. In my pocket. My pockets are full of surprises. And they're really little. I'm going to pour them out here in my hand. Bring them up to the camera here so you can see our giant Sequoia seeds. Super tiny. There can be hundreds in one cone, sometimes about 200 seeds per cone. And what do they remind you of? What do they look like to you? Use your imaginations. Think about food. What about food do they remind you of? Woo! Drop them. Maybe they'll grow. They remind me of breakfast. They remind me of oatmeal. Same thing inside a bowl of oatmeal. Same thing inside of a granola bar. Really tiny seed. And eventually the seed's going to grow into a big tree. Yeah, it's amazing. They start off their life so little, right? Such a tiny little seed. Yeah, but not every seed's going to make it. This is a hard life out here for seeds, all seeds, giant Sequoia, cedars, everything. It's a hard life because all these trees are competing for 5 things. Their seeds pretty much need 5 main things to grow. Now, if you're at home, let's think about these 5 things. Let's think about it. And if you're sitting next to someone, a sibling or a parent, go ahead and share those 5 things. You can see them all behind me here. Sometimes. All right, well, thing number 1, sunshine. Now, some seeds can grow in the shade. Oh, looks like the sun is starting to come out here. Some seeds can grow in the shade. Some need the sun. Our giant Sequoia needs the sun. And a lot of these trees are blocking the sun. So it's hard to find a sunny spot. What about all this white stuff here? Water. And here in the mountains, most of the water for these trees comes from snow. California is a very dry state, typically. Many places are very dry. Same here. And all the snow will eventually melt. It gets absorbed into the ground like a sponge. And then you all at home, I bet you know what part of the tree gathers the water. Is it the bark? Is it the needles? It's the roots. The giant Sequoia need a lot of water. Luckily, we're here. This is why they like to live here. Just like where you like to live where your home is. You probably like the weather there. Maybe if you're in California. If you're in other states, you probably are having winter just like me. So yeah, the giant Sequoia love the weather here. They are a snow tree, true and true. So snow, sunshine, soil. Soil's underneath all the snow here. Also, air, He's going to need to breathe just like us. And do you think a seed is going to stay little forever?
No.
No, it's going to need some room to grow. Sunshine, water, air, soil, room. Those are the 5 main ingredients for a giant sequoia seed and many seeds to grow. But it's hard to get those things. So not every seed is going to make it. Not every seed is going to get out of the cone and travel to a good spot. That's why the giant sequoia needs help from a special friend. There's a special animal here in the forest that helps to get these seeds out of the cone for our giant sequoia, get these seeds into a decent spot to grow.
Mr. Kraken, I can't see her.
What animal do you think that could be? I'll give you a hint. It's small enough to fit in my pocket. It has a bushy tail. Were you all guessing this little guy here? Were you all thinking of squirrels? Because that right there, everyone, is the best friend of our giant sequoia. And that's called a chicory. A chicory squirrel, otherwise known as a Douglas squirrel. They are a very common animal here, probably the most common animal I see. Now, we have over 80 different animals here. But this little squirrel is the one I see the most. They are climbing up and down these trees all day, eating cones, eating seeds, making their nests. And they like to eat our giant sequoia seeds. And when they eat these seeds, they are very messy eaters. They're trying to get these seeds out of the cone, these cones, making this huge mess. And what that does, though, is help to get the seeds out.
Can you guys see now?
As they're eating.
Yes.
And maybe that seed will grow.
Yes.
They're very helpful. By eating, they're helping our giant sequoia. They don't realize it. They have no idea.
Okay, mute your
They're like our
microphones,
little
please.
gardeners here. Because as a state park, you would think we would be planting all these trees. We'd be tending to this garden of ours. But we don't really do that for the trees. We do a lot of other things for the trees. And our field trip is short. I don't have time to go into all that. But the squirrels, you rely on them to help plant our giant sequoias. So they are the bestie of our giant sequoias, just like us. You need your friends sometimes to help you out, don't you? Yeah, hopefully right now y'all are social distancing though from your friends, taking a little breather from hanging out, being safe. So the giant sequoias stand strong. They are mighty trees. They stand strong because of their bark, because of their little friendship here with squirrels. Yeah. All right. So let's keep going. There's one last stop, and this is our finale on our field trip. Now let's see here. We have many options we can talk about here. Let's see. Let's see here. I think we'll do a challenge. Are you all up for a challenge?
Yes.
Are you up for a challenge?
Yes.
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 Now, you can use your imagination. Talk to your neighbor about the answer. So in the beginning, we learned about the strong giant sequoia bark. These mighty giant sequoias stand strong because of their protective bark. The bark keeps the tree safe from fire, animals, insects, disease, fungus, the weather. So what do you think is the biggest threat to the life of the giant sequoia? What is going to harm these trees the most? What is really going to take them out? Think about it. These are strong trees. They live for thousands of years, sometimes 3,000 years. So what do you think is actually going to harm these trees?
Wildfire.
So you get to think about that. You get about 1 minute until I walk to our next stop with my shoes on to figure out that answer. And then we're going to talk about it together here. The biggest threat to the life of our mighty giant sequoia. We're walking down our North Grove Trail here at Calaveras Big Tree State Park.
Okay.
We're in Nevada mountains, and you all have a challenge to determine what is going to hurt these trees the most. Okay. So what are some of your ideas? Well, I do this field trip with students from all over the world, sometimes in other countries. And we talk about some ideas like fire, So fire is certainly something that can harm a tree, but in most cases, our giant sequoia are going to be strong enough to withstand fire. Their bark is very thick. There's that protective chemical inside called tannin that keeps the tree safe from fire. It's fire resistant. So fire is going to hurt these trees if it's a bad fire, for sure. But most low-burning fires aren't going to hurt these giant sequoias. So fire is an idea that a lot of students have. A lot of students think tornadoes. Now, here in the mountains of California, we do not get tornadoes. If you're in the Midwest watching this, taking this adventure with me, I grew up in Illinois, and I'm from the Midwest. You guys get a lot of tornadoes there. We do not get them here in California. We do get high winds. A lot of high winds.
Yes.
So that's not really a tornado, but the winds do blow down our trees. One blew down in my office last winter. It wasn't a giant sequoia, it was a different tree. So high winds, a lot of people think that might hurt a giant sequoia, and it does, certainly does. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and this is another common thing students think is the biggest threat to the life of a giant sequoia, it is people. Now, people are tiny. How could such a tiny person hurt such a big tree? So this wasn't always a state park. California did not always own this land. A lot of different people owned this land and wanted to do things to the giant sequoia that hurted them.
Bears?
So we bought this place in 1931 with the mission to protect these trees, protect the trees from people. Now that doesn't make sense, does it? But it's true. People are capable of doing a lot of harm to trees, mostly cutting them down. So what you see behind me here is an example of a giant sequoia that's been cut down by people. So if you came up with people, I would think that's a big threat to the giant sequoia. Not so much anymore. Most of these trees are protected in a park. But behind me here is an example of a tree that didn't get protected. This is our discovery stump. Some of our giant sequoias have names. This one's named the discovery stump. It looks like a little chocolate cake right now covered in frosting. But underneath there is a big giant sequoia stump. It's about 90 feet around, about 5 feet tall. It used to be 280 feet tall. It's a huge giant sequoia. And it was cut down in the 1850s, long, long time ago, way before a park was here. And during the 1850s in California, something was happening. Something was happening that changed everything for a lot of people. Something very shiny was discovered in the Sierra Nevada mountains. A very shiny and valuable rock. Gold, that's right. The gold rush was happening that brought in a lot of new people into this forest. People that weren't here before. And some of these people decided to cut down this giant sequoia to make money, make a profit. That was the motivation behind this. Pretty sad. This was an ancient tree. They counted the rings up here and determined it was about a 1,200-year-old tree. That's how you can determine how old trees are sometimes.
That's so old.
As a symbol of a year the tree was living. So 1,200-year-old giant sequoia here. And it looks like it stops, but it goes back into the forest. It's starting to decompose and rot. So yeah, this is a very sad sight for a lot of people. A lot of people were very outraged, upset by this. A lot of people thought this was vandalism for a giant sequoia. As we've been learning, these trees are not your average tree. They're really rare. They only grow here in the mountains of California naturally. They're very big, and they're very symbolic and iconic trees to California's history and to our nation's history, really. Think about it. So yeah, eventually this was formed into a park. California bought this place for over $1 million, a few $1 million, to protect giant sequoias from things like this happen.
A lot.
So it's a good thing because this little adventure would have been really sad, don't you think? we'd be looking at a bunch of stumps here. Every tree was marked to be cut down by the last owner of the forest. And that would be a really, really sad sight. Pretty boring adventure, looking at a bunch of stumps.
Yeah.
You think? Yeah, so the giant sequoias stand strong despite all their odds. They are mighty, mighty trees. All right, friends, we are at the last segment of our field trip, our little adventure today. And if you want to research more about this tree, you're more than welcome to. This is called our discovery stump. I'm not going to get into how they cut it down, how long it took, all that stuff, because I want to talk about another thing here. Another important feature of our giant sequoia, and that is the shape of the tree. And in fact, we're going to do a little exercise together in these last few minutes together. So you're going to see a photograph here come up on your screen. And this is a photograph of one of our biggest trees. And a lot of our big trees here, we have about 1,000 real big ones. Some of them have names. This one is called the sentinel. Sentinel. And that is me standing in front of it. And this tree, this is obviously not now in the winter. This is when all the snow's gone. I'm in the sun. And this tree, what do you notice about the shape of the tree? These are scientific eyeballs here. Look at that shape. What do you notice?
It kind of looks kind of bumpy.
Are you noticing a very wide bottom to that tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an up and down tree. It's not a straight tree. It has this really wide bottom, almost like a triangle. And this is an important feature of our giant sequoia because they do not have very deep roots. These trees have very shallow root systems. Sometimes the roots only go into the ground maybe 8 feet or so, maybe about as tall as I am, and that's it. So these roots have a lot of work to do to hold up these huge, massive trees. Very heavy tree. They can weigh many, many pounds, sometimes 60,000 pounds. So this shape of the tree helps the tree to stand up straight. So think about a triangle, everyone at home. Think about a triangle. Is it easy to tip over a triangle? No, right? It has a strong bottom, a wide bottom here that keeps the tree nice and strong, keeps it standing up straight and tall. Because if the tree were straight, it would blow over very easily. So let's do a little demonstration here. I'm going to do some giant sequoia yoga. Now, I don't always do this on my adventures, and I don't always do this in snowshoes. So everybody, let's stand up at home. Stand up where you are if you're sitting down. And I'm going to trust that you're all playing along with me. Everybody stand up. All right, so I'm going to walk back here in my snowshoes to demonstrate this concept, this wide shape. So in architecture, this shape is called a buttress. A buttress, and it helps hold buildings up. So let's all buttress our legs, put them far apart, everyone, about a couple feet apart. All right, now we are giant sequoias. Put your arms by your side, stand up straight, tongue. We are mighty giant sequoias. We are strong and mighty, standing strong. All right, now pretend there's a wind. And let's move our giant sequoia trunk in the wind. And notice how you feel. Notice how you feel in the wind as a giant sequoia. Try not to fall over. Keep your feet firmly planted. These are your roots. That's the trunk of our giant sequoia, nice little triangle shape. Now let's be pine trees. Let's be a sugar pine. Let's put our feet together. Let's put our feet close together. Put our feet close together. Stand up straight and tall. We are our sugar pines. Put your branches by your side. And now pretend there's a wind. And let's bend our trunk in the wind. Now, what are you noticing about how you feel?
I feel
Do you
wiggly.
feel stronger as a giant sequoia?
It feels more windy.
Yes.
I feel stronger as a sequoia.
It feels stronger, doesn't it, when you have a wide stance?
Yeah.
You can blow in the wind really easy. You could sway here all day, can't you? And not fall over. So that's the point I'm making here. Our giant sequoias stand strong because of their unique shape. Most trees are straight up and down. The giant sequoia has this unique shape, helps them stand strong. The mighty giant sequoia stands strong. All right, friends. Well, we are nearing the end of our adventure. And I just want to thank you all today for joining me at Calaveras Big Tree State Park to learn about the giant sequoia, Earth's most massive tree. Very unique tree, very special tree to California's history and to our nation's history. Most of these trees are safe inside of a park because of their size, because of their special qualities that we've all learned about today in our adventure. In the beginning, we learned about their strong bark. The giant sequoia stands strong because of their thick bark, the chemicals inside, tannin. Then we went further down the trail. You got to meet the best friend of our giant sequoia and to talk about the seeds, how the seeds grow, what they need to grow, why they like to live here in the mountains. And then we went further down the trail. You all took a challenge at home. You did excellent. You learned about some of the impacts to these trees, things like wind, fire, and people cutting down the trees. And then we finished off by doing a little yoga. We learned about the shape of our giant sequoias, how their root system is very weak, how the shape helps them hold themselves up. So the mighty giant sequoia stands strong, and I hope we all can too during this pandemic. Thank you everyone for coming here to the park today, to Calaveras Big Trees with me, Jenny. We have plenty of adventures to go on. So go to port-ca.us, sign up for another one, and learn more about California and our awesome state parks. Thank you everyone for coming. Stay safe out there. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye, Bye Jenny.
Bye.
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 That was awesome. Oh my gosh. What do you guys think? Did you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, me too. That was so cool. So
I could take care of the baby. Yeah. Okay.
Here's what I want you guys to do. Is everyone listening?
Yes.
Okay. So one of your assignments today is to explore with Adobe Spark Video.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was thinking while I was while we were doing our virtual field trip, is maybe as just kind of a little experiment, you could make an Adobe Spark video today about what you learned.
Okay.
About the giant sequoia. That could be maybe like a topic for your first Adobe Spark video. Now, just have fun with it. I don't, I'm not expecting perfection. Mostly, I want you to be teaching yourself about Adobe Spark Video to find out what it can do. And, so just use that to show me what you learned. And then when you're done with your video, save it to your library, to your photos, and upload it to Seesaw.
How do you save the photo on
Okay,
a computer?
so if you guys give me a minute, I can show you.
Okay.
Can you hold on a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let me get. Oh, I gotta go get my iPad. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Might do that one thing
Hi, George.
Hold on.
where it glitches a lot.
Who wants to see my dog?
You're mean, Annabella.
That's chat.
I'm gonna get my dog.
We're all sitting here and you just eating a donut all in front of us.
What is that supposed to mean? I bet all of us are
Donut.
going to eat noodles.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, here we go.
Who wants donuts? We're done.
Yesterday we made rice crispy balls.
Doggy.
Can you hear my doggies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought my dog.
Yeah.
We here.
They are.
That's it. A dog just put her butt on the
I know.
camera.
Review.
Oh my goodness. No.
I need you all to mute your microphones.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how you're going to log into Adobe Spark Video. This is what the icon looks like, what your app looks like. You should have it on your iPad. If you don't, you can download it from the TUSD App Store. It will be there. So Adobe Spark Video. And then you can continue. Okay, somebody needs to mute their mic still. And then you're going to continue with Google. And when it asks you, what are you going to say? Continue. Okay, and you choose your account. Okay, and then it's going to ask you, were you choosing an account for Adobe ID with a personal account? No. We're going to choose the second one, Enterprise ID, because we have a school account. So you're going to choose the second one, Enterprise ID. And then you should be able to log in. Okay. Now, I have a couple of it. Well, I actually have one that I'm working on right now. It isn't quite finished. This is for another class that I'm taking. But I can open it up and show you what to do. Okay. So when you're done, you're going to go right here. Do you see where it says share? You're going to just go here to share, and it will save your video to the camera roll. And then from there, you should be able, and I'm going to cancel it, you should be able to upload it to Seesaw. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if you understand. Okay. All right, so give it a try. Show me your learning from our field trip. Use Adobe Spark Video to learn about the app and to show me what you learned today. Okay? Annabella.
Is it going to be like a short one or a long one?
Oh, it can be short. It doesn't have to be long.
Thank you.
In fact, try and keep it under 3 minutes.
How many facts do you have to do?
I'm not giving you a requirement. You can decide what you want to add to your video, okay? It's mostly to teach so that you can learn about it.
Okay.
And in the meantime, have a topic. Okay? Okay, do we have any other questions today?
Yeah.
Okay, Abigail.
When I go to an Adobe Spark Video, it doesn't let me my account.
Did you follow the steps like I told you?
Yeah, but it said let me.
Okay.
It said that wait.
Is there any way to present your screen?
It says an error occurred to your account, and I don't know how to.
Dominic, is that what happened to you too?
Miss McCracken,
Okay.
when I try to share my...
Hold on. Was there anyone here who was able to log in? What am I telling you that's wrong? Victoria?
I got to log in.
Okay, what did you do? How did you do it?
So I don't know how to download apps on my computer, but I went to their website and it works for me. And then I signed up with Google and it had I was in.
Okay. So maybe that's one way we could do it. You guys could just go to Safari, to Adobe Spark Video, and log in that way. You could do that from your iPad. I don't know why the app isn't working though. That's weird.
But when I tried to share it on my computer, it would always say share it to like somebody else or add somebody to your video.
So you might want to go to your iPad and log in.
Okay.
It should sync, and then you could do it that way.
Okay.
You know what? Maybe I'm going to try this again. Hold on, you guys. Okay, you guys, what are we chatting about? I need you guys to, not do the silly comments in the chat. Okay, we're going to try this again. Okay, so I'm going to log out. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this time I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Do you see here on the bottom where it says have an Adobe ID or education account, log in? Do you see that line right there?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to tap right here where it says log in. I'm going to see if that is any different. Okay, so, okay, yeah, so this is sign in. So you're just going to put your email address. I'm going to stop presenting for a minute while I log in. Okay, so I just put in my email address. Now, do I have a personal account or do I have a company or school account?
Company school account.
We have a school account. So that's what I'm going to tap. Okay. Okay, and then it looks like it's going to have me log in again with Google. Okay. And let me put in my password. Okay, let's see if that worked. Okay, so that way, so it did let me. Do you guys want to try that?
Yeah.
You want to try it right now?
Later.
Someone try that and see if it works?
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay.
Close it here. Mm. Mm.
George, I see your eyeball.
Okay.
Okay, does that work for anyone yet? Or are you still working on it?
I'm still working on it.
Still working.
Okay.
For some reason it says it doesn't recognize when I put my password.
Okay, make sure you're typing it in correctly.
Oh, wait, there you go. I got it.
Who got it?
Abigail.
Okay. Good. Okay, so that seems to be the way to do it then. Okay, does everyone remember how to do that? Just make sure you're typing in your correct information. Annabella?
Mine doesn't work with Google, so I'm trying the app right now.
Okay. Okay, Alice, I need you to sit up, honey. Okay, is everybody else working on logging in? Did it work that way, Annabella? Or are you working on it?
I'm working on it.
Cheeseburger with no cheese. Cheese or no cheese?
Is everyone else working on it? So like George, Benjamin, Belinda, Luke, Tanya, are you guys all trying to log in?
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it working for you guys?
I'm trying to download it and it's
For
still downloading.
Okay.
some
Say it again,
reason,
Ricardo?
for some reason, it just says that an error occurred whenever I put my
Okay.
password. Like I said, signing into Adobe Spark Video, and then it just does a little loading thing.
Did you go through that bottom line?
Yeah. And it said an error occurred.
Are you using the app or the website?
The app.
Abigail, did you use the app? Abigail?
I got it. I got it.
Okay, Luke, you got it. Luke, what did you do?
I got it. I just signed in to my account.
Okay, so Ricardo, just keep trying, okay? Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. I might put a link up there to show you a little bit more how to log into that in case you forgot. Email me if you just absolutely could not do it, and we'll try and troubleshoot it. Okay, everyone?
Okay.
I hope you liked the field trip. Did you like it?
Yes.
I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so do you want me to maybe find another one for next week?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I will look around and see
Hold
what I
up,
can.
Mr. Kraken, before you leave, I just pressed the login thing,
Who's this?
and I think
Ricardo.
and it's just showing me like things, like pictures. And it
Okay,
says, like,
so
neon light up, fun with color, the future solar energy, smoothies, lemonade stand.
it looks like you got in, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Okay, so now your job is to play with it and kind of learn how to do it.
I didn't get on it.
Okay, you guys, I am going to sign off.
Yeah, we'll just
So that means you guys need to sign off too.
There.
Keep trying for Adobe Spark and see what you can do with it.
Okay.
And if you get something done, remember to share it, save it to your photos, and upload it to Seesaw so we can share what we did. Okay.
Okay.
I hope you have fun with it. Okay, guys, have a great day.
Bye,
See you
Miss.
at the conference.
Bye.
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 Bye, 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 bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.